And today is the 6th of May. It is Tuesday. We're looking at the SPY chart right now. Let me come over here to this ES chart and shrink it back out. This is a 30-minute ES chart. You can see here we've had this big rollover overnight down almost 0.8%. I'm basically going to suggest that this is the rollover I am expecting carrying down into this breakaway, gap breakaway today, counter trend breakaway tomorrow, which again, we're in bullish trending. We're in mixed daily, weekly bias. Counter trend breakaway could be, in my opinion, still a fairly strong downward trend if we still have this bullish bias by tomorrow. Carryover, possible downward trend, and inside breakaway, possible downward trend. I'm thinking we're going to get a pretty solid pullback here. If you look here at hourly or even 2 hours, here's our move up. You don't really see the flagging as clearly here off of the deep low back over here, but you do see it here. And this is our rally up into flagging, up into consolidation here, and then really up into that major peak right here, or what would be considered the ultimate high. Now, did we get this breakdown where I expected over here? No, that was the breakdown highlighting what I thought would potentially happen off of this rolling flag formation. Did not happen. Now, and again, to prove that I'm not foolproof, this is a good example of, where I thought the breakdown would take place. My opinion was that we were going to flag out over here, break downward, and break downward into this May 1st, 2nd low. So originally I thought that this was going to be our breakdown into this low, and we continued to push higher all the way up into this high. So I was wrong. There you go. I'm not perfect. It happens. Trading is one of those things where we use our best capacity to understand the trend and then try to time it efficiently. I actually got into my trades right over here off of this high. So I'm looking for price to roll back down below this level. That would make me very happy. Now, where we're at right now, we've reached the ultimate high. We have a little bit of flagging. I'm not sure that this is going to be the flag or if this is just an initial roll, setting up a flag back over here. We'll see how it plays out. We have this breakdown mode. What I would like to see is a breakdown into, let's just go from here, into this consolidation zone. And I think that would qualify as a decent enough breakdown. And remember, what we're looking at here is this roll into that early May low. So really this is the ES chart. We're kind of looking for that roll into that, ninth, let's call it 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th low, somewhere in here, maybe down in here. We're looking for that breakdown into consolidation or that breakdown into consolidation into that area. So we're going to see how this plays out. It's pretty exciting right now to see this rollover finally take place. And again, was I wrong in taking the trade? No. Yes and no. Okay. I missed this continued extended trending. I didn't really believe that. I saw this flagging right here, this peak, this rolling, this flag, and it was right aligned here. I thought, this has got to be, looks like a perfect doubling topping formation. As soon as we got up above this level, I started adding into my shorts. I thought we were doing great here until we rolled back out of it. Some kind of a news happened early this morning, probably a 90-day pause or whatever on tariffs. And like I said, earnings maybe, and we carried all the way up over into here. Yeah, so I took some heat. I had my trades carrying all the way out to May 16th. Many cases, that's all the way out here, out to this area. So my trades are still good out to this area, May 16th. So I gave myself enough time to roll with it. And that's a lesson I've learned, is that, I might be early. I might be 2, 3, 5 days early. I might be 10 days early. So when I'm taking these big positional trades, unless I wait for it to start potentially breaking down, I have to give myself 20, 30, maybe 40 days to give myself that opportunity to actually mature. Same thing I do with my metals trades. I don't really day trade. And I can, but it's tough because phone calls, handling customers, answering questions, dealing like today. I got to go pick up my father from his physical therapy at 9 a.m. Anyway, long and short of it, it just doesn't make for day trading. And that's a simple fact. So looking at this breakdown, and we need to see it basically get below this level. So if I were to highlight this in red, this, call it 55, 66 level on the ES is where I'm looking at for a breakdown. That would put us right over here on this hourly chart at kind of a, right here, make it purple. That would put us at 548.65. So right over here, 548.65 as a potential breakdown. And again, what we're looking at here is this the flag? I don't know. Could be. And remember, consolidation is where we really know where the flag sets up. So I think we could be looking more at a deeper move, kind of like I've drawn here, maybe not all the way out to this area. This is the 12th. Kind of looking at a deeper move into flagging, potentially breaking down into consolidation. So there we go, guys. Kind of what we're looking at here. Let's see if it plays out. Remember, I need to see the markets roll down kind of below this area to start accumulating some profit in my trades. So we'll see how it is. I've only got 2 trades that expire early next week where I need to see this happen. So even if we got a bit of a breakdown, remember, we're opening at 558. So we're going to open potentially with that big gap down right around this area. And if I get a decent sized move to the downside, I'm going to end up making some money on these trades. Otherwise, I'm going to end up at least recovering some profits from this level and potentially getting out with a minor loss, letting myself continue to play another day. Now, I have longer term trades carrying all the way out to the 16th, out over here, potentially draw it like this. And then I have other trades that are carrying out to June 1st, which is right here. June 2nd, actually. Oops, June, May. I have to go look at my trades, but I think I have them carrying out to here. Early June, basically, so maybe over into here. So I pay for the extra time, giving myself that opportunity to catch these rolls. And I try to time them off of what I believe are solid entry points without having to risk too much on the downside. And I diversify. I diversify across metals, across sectors. I'm in financials right now. I'm in technology. I'm in a small utilities position, gold, silver, and a couple of miners. So we'll get gold and silver were ripping last night. We'll see how that plays out. But again, looking for this 548.65 level to be broken to the downside and looking basically for more continued downward trending here. Okay. Really looking for it to try to move back into this gapping area here and maybe down here. So we'll see how it plays out. Okay, the cycle pattern again is a gap breakaway. Could be a pretty big downward move. We get a breakaway in counter trend mode. Because we're bullish, I see this as a downward trend. Sorry, right here, the breakaway. And then carryover, I see this potentially as a downward trend and an inside breakaway in trend mode. We'll see how it plays out. Monday, we get a rally in counter trend mode. We'll see where it's at there for Monday. Tuesday looks like we get a little bit of a bounce. And ideally, by this time, I want to be out of my trades or over here. If I can get a profit out of them, I'm going to get out of some of them. Call it good. Okay, gold and silver. Look at that rally. Let me spread this out. This is a 1 hour chart. Gold is up to 33.85 from last weekend and last week when I talked about this. We'll just pick a midpoint here up to a midpoint here. Gold is up $161 in the last basically 2 trading days, Friday and Monday. So huge move, okay? On a single contract of gold futures, that's $16,000. Just a single contract of gold futures, $100 a point, up 5% in the last basically 2.5 days. And I think that we are going to continue to move higher in this trend. Now, you would say, but Brad, we've already rallied up so much. Why do you think we're going to continue to move higher? Because I think the markets are pricing in risk. So, we're looking right now at the markets pricing in risk, moving higher. And I think we're going to be moving extensively up higher. Same thing here with silver. You can see here, since essentially the beginning of May, we get rid of this, we have moved up. Let's pick the midpoint over here, which will be right here. We have moved up almost 3.5%. And I believe that we are going to still make that move up into this 33.70 area, about where we're talking about with gold over here. And that would be a move from here up to here, about 1.75%. And this is a move up about 2%. That makes sense. And then we're going to pause probably right in this area and begin another bigger rally. So now gold and silver cycle patterns are a breakaway in counter trend. So we are in bullish warning. We've already got a big breakaway taking place to the upside overnight. You can see where we ended yesterday, where we're at today. And again, where we ended yesterday, where we're at today. Today is a big breakaway trend. This is a big breakaway. And if we continue to rally here, there's going to be a huge gap on the daily chart, which is going to be, it's going to be big. You're going to have basically a gap from this area here to wherever we open up here. That's going to be the gap. And where we have the gap over here is going to be essentially from right here to wherever we open up here. So you're going to have a 60-cent gap possibly in silver, and you're going to have a $45 gap to the upside in gold. In my opinion, this big gap is going to continue to drive the markets to the upside, and I think it's going to be very positive for metals. I think this is going to be a very solid carryover rally phase higher in metals. In other words, I'm looking for new highs in metals. I think this is the time. This is the rally. And I think that ultimately, coming down here to 4 hour, I think we're looking at a move substantially higher. Maybe 3,600 in gold, maybe Well, we'd be hard pressed to get to new highs, but new highs over here in silver, 34 maybe, 34, 34.50 in silver. To me, that makes sense. Maybe even higher here in gold, 35, 36. We'll see. We shall see. I mean, a lot of these estimates to the upside are just estimates, guys. Um, I could use Fibonacci. I could come back in and tell you, but visually, if you take a look at this and you take a look over here, we come from this area with Fibonacci extension up here, back down to here. The 1% level is right up here at 37.50. Eventually, that's a pretty solid target. And the 618 level is right here at 35.50, basically, right there. Those are very solid targets. Same thing here. We take a look at this. We take a look at this from a Fibonacci standpoint, from midpoint to midpoint to midpoint. And we go to the 618 level is right here at 34.80, 34.75, and the 1.0 levels right here at 36.60. So, we're really talking about a pretty solid move. You're talking about a move potentially up into very strong highs, which you can see I highlighted earlier as target range. And you can probably see over here, I highlighted some of these areas right in this area as a target range, pretty much right across here. So we'll see how it plays out. Okay, over to Bitcoin. Don't want this to be too long today. Bitcoin is down $800. This is a 1-hour chart. It's rolled down. Let's come over here and take a look at daily. So we're rolling into that peak off of that excess phase peak high. We don't have any flagging yet. We would be looking for flagging. Remember, we'd be looking across this level for downward flagging. So we would be looking for Bitcoin to move down into possibly this 91,000 area, and then moving into flagging, potentially moving down, and then consolidation, and then a breakdown. So we're looking for Bitcoin to continue to move downward. I do believe that this ultimate high level here off of this flag, I drew it yesterday. You can see this tight little flag. It's more evident on a 1-hour chart, up into consolidation, up into the breakaway high. This is aligned very solidly with the SPY, kind of led actually the SPY a bit. And we move into this ultimate high here. So at this point, rolling over means that we would be looking for some sort of a flagging formation like this. We're looking for that new flag. And again, that flagging potential breakdown is the early stage rotation, like we saw here, getting below the flag low, which would be hypothetically right here, would be the breakdown that would generate this move down into the consolidation phase. And that's what I'm looking for right now. If we rolled back above this high, we would go with an invalidation pattern and looking for more continued upward trending. Again, price constructs. That's what I've been teaching you. Now, lots of great comments, everybody. Had somebody write me yesterday. He made 34 grand off of gold. Lovely. That's what this is all about. Helping you guys become better traders, teaching you what I see. And remember, I'm going to continue to do the research and try to train you and teach you to use skills that are more improved than what you've been using to try to help you become better traders and find better profits. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my timing skills a bit to try to catch these a bit better And I've been working on that now for 5 or 6 days. I want to be able to nail the timing within 1 or 2 days and call it good. All right, guys, that's it for now. Talk to you later. Go get some.